I'm Cameron Bonsi. I'm the VP of Marketing with Coast to Maine Brands, and I'm here with Chris and Eric, and we're here today to look at one of the things outside of this amazing space that you guys have, is that you did these raised beds. You got these from Gardener Supply.
Yep. Yes.
And then you did this whole combination. So you had our Bar Harbor potting soil, our Penobscot Blend, complete planting mix, and then our Castine Raised Bed mix. So with the directions that you got from Gardener Supply, just kind of tell me about your experience in using our soils to build your elevated raised beds.
Sure. So we knew that because they're elevated, they suggest that you use a potting soil, so it's a little lightweight. But since they're raised beds and we want a lot of those good nutrients in there, we decided to go 50-50 with the Castine Raised Bed mix and 50-50 with the Bar Harbor potting soil. So we did a lot of math and we calculated how much we needed for each one, and we have 6 beds. So we filled them up. They've done really nicely. And then as we were planting, we added a little of the Penobscot into each planting hole. In fact, these 10 little squares here in between the watering system, we just seeded them yesterday and we top dressed them with the Penobscot just to give them that extra little recharge. But we've seen incredible growth. I mean, this single celery's done phenomenal. The vines have done great, but it's been really nice. And then we knew that we had the good nutrients and the good quality soil, but also the weight requirement was met.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is there. So the Bar Harbor, it's got the compost in it.
Yeah.
We're known for our world-class compost, and we use some ocean byproducts. It's also got some perlite and some peat in it. It is lighter. There's less compost in it, so it doesn't have as much nutrients. And then the Castine Raised Bed mix is a simpler, it's a hardier blend. It's made for raised beds that are on the ground, but it has amazing diversity in there. So combining those two are what people should be doing in a lot of cases. Sometimes people use one. Some people wonder if they're making a mistake. And then with adding the Penobscot Blend complete planting mix, you just gave your plants a really diverse diet. They'll pick up, the roots will understand what they're doing, so you did it exactly the right way, and then you got amazing results. So
Yeah, we're really happy with it.
and then this is also an experiment for you too, because you're not really vegetable gardeners. Can you talk about that? Because I look around here, and I go, these are incredible gardeners, right?
Well, thank you. We garden completely for fun, and we initially fell in love with the ornamental side of gardening. And as we got more comfortable gardening, we thought, well, let's try growing stuff that we really like to eat. And so this was kind of our big experiment. And how we approach this area that we call the potager area, because we eat what we grow, and it's also decorative with the cypress vines, is we thought, well, what are we actually going to eat?
Yes.
And so that's what we're going to grow in here. And we put no pressure on ourselves for success. We just kind of plant it and have fun with it and enjoy it, because that's why we garden. Like this tomato right here. This tomato was growing in the rocks underneath that bed because a tomato from last year had fallen and it reseeded itself and it started growing. So I plucked it up and I put it in here, and I was like, let's see what kind of tomatoes we get, because that's what gardening for us is for. It's for enjoyment and for fun.
Well, I think that's the key, is enjoyment and fun. We were also talking about, as we're out here and you both are looking at, oh, this isn't as perfect as it was, or you're looking at the next step. That piece of gardening that's always looking at tomorrow, which is an important way to be in life, really. But being able to take a plant like that naturally sprouts, and then taking care of it and getting that bounty, that's an amazing process too.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what kind of tomato it is, because I don't remember.
You were terrified that I was going to ask you that? Is that what you were thinking in the back of your mind? As you
I'm
were
just looking at it, I'm like, oh, I don't remember what we grew last year, so I hope that it's something we enjoy.
But that's you do get this complete enjoyment, and you see it with both. I've interviewed you guys, and then you kind of exude that to begin with. And this is just the way that this completes what you enjoy doing. You're getting the aesthetics, you're getting food, you're getting also the science and the beauty out of it. That's really an incredible piece.
Yeah, we've definitely enjoyed the raised beds differently than I thought. I thought we're just gonna like have all this food production. This is an area where we do experiment. We're learning quite a bit about also what we eat. We at one point we had a lot of peppers, and we found out we don't eat that many peppers. So that's kind of fun. But we have had a lot of success with strawberries this year. That one, I mean, who doesn't like strawberries?
Yeah.
So that's been a lot of fun to see, like what we like. Maybe we're right here. There's something called Mizuna. I had gotten free seeds in the mail with another seed order, so we're gonna find out what Mizuna is gonna taste like or look like, because I've never seen it before.
Well, it's interesting too, the strawberries. I mean, was there a recommendation on the pH of the soil for the strawberries? Did it recommend a lower pH on that?
I just
Maybe. We could, I think because we started in the ornamental garden arena, and when you first start gardening, I still remember that feeling of being completely overwhelmed with shoulds.
Yeah.
And you should, and you should, and you should. And after getting through those terrifying first years of shoulding and realize that if you don't do those things you should do, things still survive and they still thrive, that there's no like hard and fast rules, just general guidelines. I think because we went through that here, that as we enter this arena, we realize we don't have to take every should as a law. It's just more of a guideline, and that I think makes gardening more accessible and more attainable to people when you relieve a little bit of that pressure that there's only one way to do things. And that has helped us be more successful here, because we just plant the strawberry and we think, well, we'll see how it does. And we're not putting the pressure on it to be like, we need to get the perfect harvest. We should be getting 3 pounds of strawberries this year and nothing less. And if we didn't, it fails.
I love that, because that's actually the part of what I was going to say. Is that, number one, I think of gardening as raising kids. Right? There is no perfect way to do it. Right? What I think about with children and with plants is setting the culture. So when you set the culture properly, you can make mistakes, and it's still going to come back to the core. And so the reason I mentioned that, we get a lot of questions about pH, and that, what can the plant take up in those pH ranges. But if the soil is healthy, the pH range becomes less significant because there's enough health in that soil. That's why I was kind of asking.
Oh yeah, no,
that
makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
We get that question all the time, and people are afraid. What happens with us, people are afraid that they're going to make a mistake. Oh my God, what's that saying? It didn't say that that's going to grow what I thought it was going to grow on the bag. That must not be the right bag. What does that one say? And the fact is, if you've got a good culture and you've got a healthy soil, most things are going to grow, except for once in a while you get a really fussy plant. So that was a piece, and I love the idea that here you are out here with all this experimentation that's grown into this beautiful space, and you're still experimenting. You don't have all the answers.
No,
right?
No, for sure.
That's the piece. And so you were able to do this and take a combination of soil. So this is just awesome. And being out here today, we're so fortunate to be in the sun today, hanging out with you, and what you've been able to accomplish is amazing. So thank you.
Well,
Thank you for using
being
Costa
here.
Maine.
Of course, we love it.